There it is. Morning, everybody. Welcome back to the show. No idea what day of the week it is. Not even a clue. Let me guess. Yeah, I got nothing. Wednesday. It's Wednesday, chat. Wednesday. What the fuck do you know about a Wednesday, dude? Smash a like button. Welcome to day 969. Whoa, that's a sex number. What did we do yesterday? Nice in the chat.
Previously on the John Bam Show.
01 000 111 0111 0010 011 01 001 001 011 00100. Numerology, you might as well just skip to shoving a crystal up your ass, you know what I mean? Anyway, that's why they call it the grind. Digging some big holes.
Dealing with bullshit.
Yeah.
It's just part of your life.
What are you on a tune?
That's why they call it the grind.
Digging some big holes.
Blah, 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 blah.
All right, let's go. I'm over it now. Oh, my God. You got to be kidding my noose, bro. I believe it's ready for me to fuck your mama's big titty. Whatever. I put some butter on your asshole and like fucking raccoon eat it out. Stick a crystal in your ass. What is fine? What is fine? You know how my brain is normally mush? When now it's like congealed mush. I don't know if that's Twitter. Take out your iPhone and piss on it. All right? That's where I'm at today, boys. Chat. I'm at, I'm going to be honest with you, boys. I'm at, what's the good saying here? I'm stupid. I'm not having it. I'm not having it. I'm peaking today, boys. I'm fucking peaking today, boys. Everything is great. You ever have a mental breakdown before? Fucking great. Why don't you just stick a key in my ass and wind me up like a monkey? Holy shit. You know, every time once in a while, you just got to grab your dick and just beat. You know what I mean? Just get it out. Get the poison out, Deborah. Oh my God, Don. Oh my God, Don. Good Lord. There it is, boy. Another bang over to my boy Sid Killer. How the fuck are you doing? Pet this head, chat. Chat, today's intro is so long because this is the 1095th intro. 3 years of consecutive intros right there, chat. 365 times 3. I did math. There it is, dude. Give it up to Sid Killer grinding. Just fucking grinding, dude. You're gonna need plastic sheets after said killer comes to your house. You know, chat. If you see what Shell Ida is saying, and if you're out of the loop, if you don't know yet, Baby Bams is home, chat. Baby Bams is home. She slept in her own bed last night, which is why we were celebrating, basically. You know what I mean? Last night was like oh my God, thank you, God. Oh, my God, thank you, God. And just take the edge off. Give me the box of wine. I'm going to fucking town, boys. What do you, I don't understand. What do you want to know about Baby Bams? Is there news or something? What are you talking about, chat? It's like nothing ever even happened now. Okay, should we do the Baby Bams thing? I was talking about this last night on Davey. I'm like, when should I do it? Like, it's kind of a long-ass story. It's weird. It's crazy. Do you guys just want me to cut straight to the chase and just tell you what it is? Like, what do we want to do here? Let's tell the full story. I'm going to fumble through this and forget shit and stuff. We'll backtrack. I'll jump forward and backwards in time, all that. So at some point of the day, a little over a week ago, I guess, my daughter felt a little not right. She couldn't really explain what was wrong. She just says, I don't feel good. We're like, okay. So we take her up. We put her into her bed. I'm sitting in here, and I hear a thud. I hear a thud. So I go into my daughter's room, and she's laying on the floor. And I go to pick her up, and she can't stand up. She can't stand up. Her body is not working, and she's lethargic. Like, she's just like a zombie. And she's limp. And so, obviously, immediately, we're like, holy fuck, to the hospital. We rush off to the hospital, and that's when, like, I told the nurse story last night. This is a crazy thing that the nurse said to us when we got to the hospital. She says, which I don't think you're supposed to do this, but she says, we've seen a bunch of kids come in like this recently who have just had COVID and they're having strokes. And so right away, we're fucking freaking out, right? We're like, what do you mean? Are you telling me right now my daughter has had a stroke? Right? So we're bugging the fuck out. Cutting fast forwarding a bit, so not to lead you on a wrong path here, chat. It is not a stroke. She did not have a stroke. But that was the initial, like, thing. Like, her symptoms, the way they were presenting. She was just like, right? I'm like, honey, baby bams, baby. And she's just like, right? And she can't stand. Her legs don't work. Her arms barely work. So they start doing some tests. Then they upgrade, or not upgrade, they an actual doctor then tells us more what they think it is, right? But obviously tests have to be done. But so now our first nearly accurate diagnosis came in as something called transverse myelitis. Transverse myelitis, basically, real quick, is inflammation of your spine, right? So her spine was inflamed, which was cutting off nerves and shit, right? So she was able to think, I want to talk or move or use my leg, but the signal couldn't get there because her spine is swollen. Inflamed. Her spine is inflamed. So that's where we sat for a couple days. We sat for a couple days going, okay, it's transverse myelitis. And then I do the worst thing on fucking earth, which some of you are probably already doing. I hit the Google, right? And Google scared the shit out of me. And so they had to run some tests on my daughter. The biggest test they had to do a CT scan, they had to do an MRI, and they had to do a spinal tap. Spinal tap, cutting forward now, spinal tap is the one I was waiting on the most. Remember, like, I was just waiting on this one result, because the spinal tap takes a while. While waiting on the spinal tap, obviously, though, we got a phone call. Well, Amanda was there. I was home, but we were then notified that a team of neurologists wanted to meet with us. And now I'm, like, bugging out even more. I'm like, oh, my God, a team of neurologists want to see us? This isn't fucking good, dude. This isn't fucking good, dude. And the team of neurologists meet with us to go over the MRI and the CT scan and all that shit. And they start off, and boy, did they pitch it to me terribly. Because they explain what it is, and then they're like, okay. Now, when we normally see transverse myelitis in kids, it's, on the MRI, you look at their spine, and the way you see inflammation in an MRI is basically it just glows. Right? Like there'd be like a glowing spot on her spine. They pull up the MRI and her entire spine, top to bottom, her whole spine is glowing bright. The entire thing. Right? Meanwhile, keep in mind, my daughter's like unresponsive, limp, can't move, machines fucking galore strapped her, and I'm looking at her spine is completely inflamed. So right now, chat, we're still thinking, fuck, transverse myelitis. But then it got worse. She goes to the next slide in the MRI, and it wasn't just her spine that's fully inflamed. It was also her brain. Her brain was also inflamed, which it was the back. I forget the names, like the cortex or whatever, the back of her brain, and like right in the middle. Right in the middle of her brain was inflamed as well. I forget what that part is. Like right, literally the middle of your brain. Cerebellum, yeah. So that's where like the lethargic, non-responsive part was coming from. The inflammation in the brain, and then her body not working was inflammation in the spine. So now the diagnosis gets upgraded. It's not transverse myelitis. Now we're upgraded to something called ADEM. Acute, I forget what ADEM stands for. You might actually have to Google it. But ADEM is basically, means your spine and your brain are inflamed. So that's her official diagnosis still today, ADEM. Now, the reason I was like, I know what's going on, but I'm just waiting for results. I know what's going on, but I'm waiting for results, is because they did the spinal, acute disseminated yes, that's it. Yeah, that's what it is. So, we're sitting there. I was waiting on the spinal tap. I need the spinal tap. I need the spinal tap. I need the spinal tap because the spinal tap was going to tell us why this happened. There was basically two choices or two possibilities as to why this happened. Possibility number one was that it's just a weird. Her body had a strange response to a virus she recently had. It could be any virus. It could be COVID. It could just be a cold, the flu, whatever. Sometimes, a kid will have this response where their immune system just freaks the fuck out and does wild shit. Or we were going to find out that it wasn't from a random cold and it's something her body just did on its own. So was it yesterday? Either yesterday or the day before, I then found that out. It's not from a recent cold or flu. It's something her body did on her own. So now we have another diagnosis called MOGAD. MOGAD, which is basically, it's in I guess kind of like an autoimmune disease where her body is creating an antibody that attacks the lining of her spine and brain. Right, so the two diagnoses officially now are ADEM, ADEM, and MOGAD. So basically now the treatment and shit, they had to pump her full of omega dose. The very first thing they did was an omega dose of steroids. How big of an omega dose? Let me tell you. When they first hooked the steroids up to my daughter, the machine wouldn't allow the nurse to put the steroids in. There was a giant flashing red warning on the screen that says critical dose. Critical dose. But they had to slam her, right? Because her inflammation was bad. Her inflammation was really bad. So they had to wham. So they immediately start with the steroid, and then we get called to have another meeting with the neurologists. This time it was new neurologists. I think these are now neurologists came in from out of town to meet with us on this because I don't know if I mentioned this. They've seen exactly what my daughter has. They've seen a massive uptick of this in children over the last year. And this is why I was saying I'm going to tell the full story because I know I got parents in my chat. I'm not trying to scare y'all, but you might want to at least look into a little bit of it so you know what to look out for, because in a situation like this, the faster you get them to the hospital, the better off you are. The faster you can stop that inflammation, the better the chance of everything being okay. But they did make it very clear. There has been, for some reason, they don't know why, a big uptick in this. There's a lot of kids getting this all of a sudden. The other reason I thought that we should bring this up, and I should actually tell the story, is it's actually MOG Awareness Month. So there's a move right now to make this more known. Is that my daughter literally got this disease during the awareness month, basically. So I guess through actual personal experience, I'm, telling you to be aware of this sort of thing and to keep an eye out for it and make sure your little ones are all right. Look for the signs and shit. There's been an increase in over the decade. Yeah. Well, they said this specifically. I think I don't remember if it was just the ADEM that they're seeing a big spike in, or if it's the ADEM brought on by this MOG. So yeah, I'm obviously leaving out tons of bits. But yeah, I guess that's it. That's the full story, chat. That's our diagnosis. Oh, moving forward. Okay, I should get to that part. Right. So we had, our third or fourth meeting with the neurologist was to prepare us for what do we expect in the future. Basically, we don't know. They say that most kids who have a good recovery from this don't ever have a relapse again. It just never happens again. Some other kids, it does happen again. There's nothing we can do to be preventative, and there's no way of knowing if it will actually happen again or not. We just have to be hyper aware, look for the signs. Obviously, she's got follow-up shit. She's already got another MRI booked. In 6 months or something, she goes back, another MRI and another spinal tap just to check in on things. Her body's going to keep producing this antibody for now. But they say, again, in the document, the information they gave us so that we don't Google, it says that it usually takes about a year. About a year, and the kid's body will stop making that antibody. So, obviously, that's what we're rooting for and hoping for now, is that her body just stops fucking making this antibody that's attacking her spine and brain. Oh, the other treatment. I got to back up the treatment. So they did the steroid, but then the neurologist wanted to meet with us again because he didn't want to stop there. Normally, if it's not too bad, they just want to hit it with the steroids and that's enough. But because my daughter's shit was like out of control and moving fast, they wanted to add a second one in. So she was on the steroid, and then they were also giving her something called IVIG, which basically they were like, I don't fully understand that one. They were pumping in antibodies. They were overloading her body with like antibodies so that her own body would stop making antibodies so that we could stop her body from making the thing that was attacking her. Right? So that's the second treatment that was on. They gave us an option out of a third treatment. We had to have a talk. The neurologist is like, there's also a third treatment that, you know, it's kind of like, it's going to be sort of up to the parents. Like, do you want to hit her with this right now too? And the third treatment was that they actually filter her blood. They put a line in, and the blood comes out of the body through a coffee filter or whatever the fuck it is. Probably more complicated than that. It goes through like a filter and then just straight back into her body. We did not do that. Luckily, we didn't have to do that. And the reason is because she very quickly, remember I kept telling you guys, she's having a great response to treatment. The wombo combo of the steroids and the IVIG had her suddenly coming back fast. Right? Like, we're with her at the hospital, and she can't even talk. She's so lethargic and just like tongue hanging out. They start these two treatments, and then I come home, stream, go back, and she's already like, boom, perked up, looking around, and can talk and everything. So I guess that's it. I think that's the whole thing, unless people got like some weird questions or something. Maybe something I skipped over. That's the full story, the full diagnosis. She is doing great. She's walking. She can walk. We were walking around the house yesterday. I still got to hold her. We're going to be scared. It's like she's a baby all over again, right? She has to relearn how to walk, relearn how to use a bunch of stuff. But it's all going good. It's all going good. The diagnosis, there's two diagnoses. It's ADEM and MOGAD. Those are the ADEM is caused by her MOGAD. Very confusing acronyms and all this stuff. But yeah, that's it. That's the full thing. But we're on the right road, boys. We're on the right road. She's doing good. She's home. Her PT starts on, I think, Monday. I think Monday is when she starts her physical therapy. And we're already doing physical therapy at home. They gave us some shit like exercises and things we got to do. We already got her practicing going up and down stairs, right? She's got the strength enough back. She can, you know, it's very slow and wobbly, but she can go up and down stairs. Her spirits are really high. That's what feels most good. She's being her goofy self, joking with us, talking about how big my belly is. And, you know, it's like we got our baby home. We just got a bunch of work to do. What? Subscribe for more.